Hi there, I'm Christina McCaffrey, and I'm going to talk to you today about narcissistic relationships. And I'm going to explain to you the difference between like a regular relationship and a narcissistic relationship based on what happens in a narcissistic relationship. Frequently, I hear people say, well, he was just kind of a narcissist, when in actuality, the person was just acting self-centered for a bit. A narcissistic relationship is a whole different ball game. And the way I describe it, or the way that I've noticed, is that it definitely comes in these phases. Strangely, I've made a correlation between that and the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So let me explain how I rope the two of those together. And it makes sense, truly. Honestly, it seems very dramatic, but again, we're talking about narcissists, so it would fit, wouldn't it? Dramatic is what you need. Okay, so here's the story. In the book of Revelation, there is a reference to, how things are going to end and what are the cycles of the world going to be. And, at the end, there is a opening of seven seals, and the first four seals unleashes four horsemen, and the four horsemen come upon the earth, and they bring different things to the earth. So the four horsemen I'm going to be describing in here, and I'm going to relate them to the narcissist and their way of thinking. Okay. So the first horseman is the white horseman, the horseman on a white horse, dressed in white. He's the white horseman. And across interpretation, this is Revelation is a hard one to interpret, by the way. A lot of argument back and forth. The only thing that you can definitely see is that there's a lot of correlation back to the Jewish Bible, or the Old Testament, as Christians say. But long story short, the first one is the white horseman, a white horseman. And so he's got a white horse, he's dressed in white, and he is considered the white horseman. And what does he bring? He brings pestilence, he brings the plague, he infects the world, he brings infection to the world. So if you think about the first relationship with the narcissist, it is very much like that. They do show up as a white knight. They show up as like everything and every potential for a great lover that you can imagine, almost mythical, almost magical, a white knight swooping you up, the defender, your savior, everything that you could potentially want, he shows up as. The difference between the white knight in our common collective unconscious and the white horseman from the Bible is that the white horseman from the Bible is actually white, but bringing pain and pestilence. And that's the difference between a good relationship and a bad relationship. There is love at first sight, for sure. You can fall in love really quickly. The difference between falling in love very quickly with a good person and falling in love with a narcissist is that with a narcissist, you will feel like your whole life is infected, and that many times it's turning toward them, not toward you. So it is, you will go rapidly into, oh, I went on a date and then we just didn't stop dating. And then 2 weeks later, he moved into my house. A month later, I'm married. You know, 2 months later, I'm moving across town, that sort of stuff. It's very rapid. It's very, very rapid. So, and there is a sense of in like almost mystical, unbelievable soul connection. Now we can have that for sure with others, but this is like on a different level. It's almost like I can't live without them. It becomes they are infected. They infect your life. They infect your life. They'll show up at your work, they'll show up with your friends. They'll want to know everything about you all quickly, rapidly. Give me it now, 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 now. So, versus somebody who is a true love will wait and take time to get to know you. Nuh-uh. Narcissist, now, 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 give it to me, give it to me. So that's the white horseman. And then the second horseman is actually the red horseman, and he is carrying a sword in Revelation, and he is the horseman that brings war to the world. So he is war. And oh, boy, if you put this with a narcissist, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, there's war. You are constantly going to be fighting against your own self. You're going to be, he's going to be questioning your beliefs. You're going to be having, you're going to start to be isolated. You're going to fight for him and, not worry about yourself. So he becomes the commander and will send down orders, and you will go forth and take battle for him. So I'll give you an example of this. He may say to you something along the lines, if your friends are really stupid, I don't want them over here anymore. So now your friends are really stupid. The friends you've known all your life, now you're at war with your friends. You're isolating from your friends because you don't want to have that kind of stuff in your life. Because if you keep your friends in your life, you will lose the war and you will lose him. He will, even if you say to him, how or what is the decision on whether or not we're going to that party? He may turn on you and say, we've had this conversation a million times. I can't believe that you forgot. We talked about this for like an hour last Tuesday, and it was decided that we were not going to that party, and neither one of us was going. We decided that. I can't believe you forgot that. So that's called gaslighting. And what happens is your brain starts to say, is that right? Is that right? So you're isolated from the world now, and you are only being fed what he wants you to hear. It's truly is a war. And then if somebody says something against him, you don't understand. You don't understand. I need to protect him at all costs. Literally, if he says to you, we need to move across town, but I've got no money to do it, you will make sure that you move across town. You'll make sure that that happens. You will put yourself on fire to keep him warm. So that's the war part of it. The third horseman of the apocalypse is the horseman, the pale horseman, as he's called. And that's the horseman of famine. Now, I'll tell you what, this is the definite area where you know that you are in a relationship with a narcissist. The reason why is because this horseman indicates famine. And if you're in a relationship of a horse with a narcissist, the time will come when you are going to feel really lonely in that relationship. And you're going to not understand why he's not paying any attention to you, or why he's paying attention to somebody else, or why your love is not good enough. You're going to twist yourself into a knot trying to figure out how to make him love you like he did. And you are going to feel famished for love, absolute famine. And you are going to be starving for it. Any little crumb that he can send your way is going to be, if he looks at you a certain way in the morning, oh, did you see the way he looked at me? Like he still loves me. You will find crumbs that you will try to make into a meal. It will be lonely. It will be desperate. If you're intelligent and you are able to get a realization, though, you may at some point realize, I'm never going to eat properly in this relationship. I'm never going to do it. I am going to starve here. This is the area where I'm going to starve. He's never going to be able to give me what I want. Now, realistically, A lot of people don't get to that. A lot of people keep thinking, "He did before, he can do it again. He's given me these crumbs. I know he can do it. I know. If I just do one thing, it's going to work. I know it. I just know it." And so they do whatever they can to hold on to it, and they die of the famine. And that's the fourth horseman, death. So the fourth horseman is where you have to decide, do you want to die in this relationship where you are hollowed out in all, or you're just crumbled up and there's nothing left of you? You are just a reflection of him and he could care less. Or are you going to turn and have the death of that relationship, but turn toward the sun so you can live? So there you go, the four horsemen of the narcissistic relationship. The things to be remembering all the time is that a narcissist is only with you for supply. They are the same way that you would eat a fancy meal and feel nourished. They are doing that with you. They do not have the ability to feel empathy the same way you do. So they fronted a look to get you, to hook you, to infect you. Then they put you at war with yourself and your world to keep you. And then they went searching whenever you got boring. Your supply was not enough. They went out and searched for more. So it's really important to know that, like, kind of, you know, if you can, put it on that level and try to see it on that level that, you are not, and if you're with a narcissist, you're going to know this. You're going to feel this. There's going to be times where you're like, "Ooh, this doesn't seem right. Why does he this or why does she that?" It's because they are only interested in supply. The saddest thing about narcissists is that they are basically a hole just walking around and they get everything from outside in. So their job is to find supply. The same way you need to find food and water, they need to find supply. They need to find somebody to elevate them and make them feel good. They need that constant. And it's drama, 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 which again, if you're with a narcissist, this is going to sound so familiar to you. It's all very crazy, isn't it? But if you can see that this is a pattern, you can see like, oh, well, I can choose not to participate in the pattern. I can see the pattern. The more you see it, the more you'll be like, oh, shoot. So when I said about the gaslighting, did that sound familiar? When I said about that feeling lonely and looking for crumbs and twisting yourself into a knot trying to get their attention. Did that sound familiar? When I talked about being isolated from family or friends, or when your goals or your vision was, thrown away because theirs was more important. Did that sound familiar? Are you feeling like you're losing a lot of money or you're giving up more of yourself and you're kind of disposable? That's all, that sort of stuff is narcissistic stuff, and it truly is very similar to what would torture a world. Basically, a narcissist is coming into your world and torturing it. The key thing is, though, there is hope. In Revelations, there's hope. At the end of it, there is hope. So know that there is hope. You can get past a bad relationship with a narcissist and learn from it. It's amazing what you can learn if you put your mind to it. You can learn how to trust yourself more. I think that's the biggest problem that it does to us is it leaves us feeling like we can't trust ourselves. Never mind trusting others, we can't trust ourselves. So there are definite ways to get help for it. And one of the most important ways is to talk to people who've been through it and or like get help from therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, coaches, consultants, anybody but make sure whenever you're talking to them they have been through a narcissistic relationship or that they've helped others in it. because I tell you what, it's the weirdest relationship you've ever experienced. I know this because I have been through it. And when I talk to others, that's the other part of it. It's almost embarrassing. You don't want to talk about what happened during the war. You don't want to talk about what happened during the war. And but if you don't talk about what happened during the war, or if you talk about what happened during the war, people don't want to hear it. You sound crazy. When you say like, "Well, he was doing this and he was doing that," and people are like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Why didn't you leave that?" So it's a very weird relationship to get involved in. So just get help. Do not die with that fourth horse. Come forward and live again. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope you subscribe and please give me comments. And I really appreciate you listening to this. Take care. Bye bye now.